2-minute warning, 2-minute warning to our first of 3 4-runner sleds. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our first of 3 4-runner sleds. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Attention spectators trackside, welcome out to the Utah Olympic Park. There's currently a sled in the track and we'll be sending sleds throughout the remainder of the day. It's a beautiful day here in Park City. Great day for some sliding. Our first 4-runner sled in the track. It is race day. Few safety reminders: no standing on, climbing over, or under any fence, barricade, or shade that surrounds the track. The metal grates and wooden decks that surround the track are not for spectating. No spectating on the metal grates or wooden decks that surround the track. No throwing objects at or around the track, and most importantly, never enter the track surface for any reason. That's for your safety and the safety of our athletes. Enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. That's the first 4-runner crossing the finish line. Attention athletes, there'll be a 30-second ice box today, 30-second ice box, and it does appear like we have a fast run out. Fast run out, so break early, break hard. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our second of 3 4-runner sleds. Start. Sledding track from the skeleton start. As the second of 3 forerunners takes to the track, we want to give a big shout out to our track crew for the fast, smooth ice. A lot of hard work those guys are putting in today to get the track ready for today's race. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our third and final forerunner sled. Sledding track from the skeleton start. So the final forerunner crosses the finish line. This will be a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning to our first competitive sled. That's a 2-minute warning for Kelly Curtis at the skeleton start. Once again, athletes, just want to reiterate, we have a fast run out today. Fast run out, break early, break hard. 30-second icebox. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Kelly Curtis. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Michelle Toucan, stand by, please. In the track, we've got Kelly Curtis, first of 6 sleds in today's skeleton selection race. Kelly Curtis, start time 5.07 seconds. She makes her way through curve 4. Cutthroat 5 into 6. Nice line out of 6. She's going to hit our speed trap at the exit of 7. 81.4 miles an hour. She heads through the labyrinth curves. Good line going through the 10-11 straightaway. Maybe touching a wall through the 11-12 straightaway. Now coming out of 13. Looking to set a high bar for today's race. Getting a little sideways through low point, still holding on to 77 miles an hour. She's going to cross the finish line with a downtime of 50.16 seconds. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Michelle Toucan. Start. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Katie Eulander, stand by, please. In the track, we have Michelle Toucan, start time 5.03 seconds. It's 4 hundredths faster than Kelly Curtis to that 50-meter line. Going through curve 5, now 6. She's holding on to her lead. She's 4 hundredths ahead of the pace. She enters the labyrinth at 80.4 miles an hour. She's fallen back now, almost a tenth of a second as she's coming out of curve 11. Going to be looking for some speed in the lower loop. Excellent line through the Olympic curve. Now Dinger, 13. Bump in the wall, sliders right, then left, right again through low point, crossing the finish line, 50.46 seconds, 50.46. It's going to put her in second at this time. Track's now clear at the skeleton start for Katie Eulander. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Kendall Wessenberg, stand by, please. In the track, we have Katie Eulander, start time 5.27 seconds. She makes her way through 1, 2, 3, now into 4. She's behind the pace about 0.3 of a second. See if she'll be able to make up some of that as she heads into the labyrinth at 81.1 miles an hour. Still back about 35 hundredths. She makes her way through curve 11. Good exit out of 11. Now through the Olympic curve into 13, Dinger. Good line coming out of Dinger, still about 35 hundredths behind the pace as she heads through low point. She's gained a little bit, only back by 8 hundredths as she crosses the finish line, 50.24. 50.24 seconds. That puts her in second place at this time. 3 sleds remain. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Kendall Wessenberg. start. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Shalonda Terry, stand by please. In the track, Kendall Wessenberg, start time 5.27 seconds. That ties Katie Eulander's start time. She makes her way through 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Cutthroat, 5. Into 6, she's back by 0.3 of a second. Little high coming out of 7. It's going to affect her top speed, 79.8 miles an hour. Now coming through the 10-11 straightaway. Excellent line right down the middle through that long straightaway, 10-11 through 12. Now into Dinger. Good line out of Dinger. She's back about 0.5 of a second. Good line through Low Point, climbing that final curve of the track. Kendall Wessenberg crossing the finish line, 50.44 seconds. That puts her in 3rd place at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Shalonda Terry. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Sarah Roderick, stand by please. In the track, we have Shalonda Terry. Fastest start time we've seen so far today, 4.95 seconds. 4.95, we'll see if she can hold on to all that speed as she heads into curve 4. Little rub heading into curve 4, now through Cutthroat. She's still ahead of the pace by 0.15 as she exits curve 7 at 80.7 miles an hour. She's losing that lead. She's now only had 0.03 as she comes out of curve 11. Excellent line out of 11 into the Olympic curve. She's back now, back 0.05, heading into Low Point. Dropping her right toe just a little bit out of curve 14. Crossing the finish line, Shalonda Terry, 50.31 seconds. 50.31, that puts her in 3rd place at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sarah Roderick. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Our final sled for Heat 1 in the track, Sarah Roderick. Start time, 4.97. That's 0.02 off the fastest start time. That was Shalonda Terry. And she's currently ahead of the pace by 0.13 of a second. The time to beat is Kelly Curtis's 50.16. The current leader, Kelly Curtis, with the 50.16 in the lead. The time to beat. Sarah Roderick behind the pace, or ahead of the pace by 0.07 coming out of curve 11. 81.1 miles an hour as she heads into the lower loop. Good lines through Dinger. Hugging sliders right through Low Point, but she's still ahead of the pace by 0.18. She's going to cross the finish line with a 49.86. Puts her in the lead. Sarah Roderick, 49.86. Let's recap your unofficial top 6 at this time. Michelle Toucan with the 54.6 in 6th. In 5th, we've got Kendall Wessenberg with a 50.44. In 4th, Shalonda Terry with the 53.1. In 3rd, Katie Eulander with a 52.4. In second, we've got Kelly Curtis with a 51.6. And your leader after the first heat, Sarah Roderick with a 49.86. Two-minute warning for our first competitive sled for the men's heat 1. That's Andy Whittier. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Andrew Whittier. Start. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Dan Barefoot, stand by please. Got 8 sleds in today's selection race. First on the ice, Andy Whittier, start time 4.61 seconds. It's an insanely fast start time. Andrew Whittier making his way through 5-6. Good line out of 7, 81.7 miles an hour. Looking to set a high bar for today's race. Andy Whittier coming out of 11. Perfect line out of 11 right down the middle through that 11-12 straightaway. Good line through Dinger. Brushes sliders right through low point, coming up 15 across the finish line with a 48.80. 48.80. Setting the bar for today's race. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Daniel Barefoot. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Austin Florian, stand by please. On the ice, Dan Barefoot, start time 4.66. Another fast start time. Daniel Barefoot behind the pace by 0.05 of a second, but he's making up some speed. Now only 0.02 behind the pace as he comes through Sunny. Good lines through 6, 7, 82 miles an hour. He's now ahead of the pace by 0.03 of a second as he makes his way out of curve 11. Good line headed into the lower loop. Now at a 12, 0.07 ahead of the pace. As he comes through curve 14, dragging his feet a little bit, brushes sliders right. Ooh, that was enough. 500ths now behind the pace as he crosses the finish line. 48.85. 48.85. That was close, but that puts him in second place by 0.05 of a second. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Austin Florian. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Sam Allred, stand by please. On the ice, Austin Florian, start time 4.55. 4.55, that's 0.04 off of the track record. Austin Florian making his way through the upper part of the track, 81.9 miles an hour, ahead of the pace by 0.2 of a second as he heads out of curve 11 into the lower loop. Good line coming out of 12, now 13. Drops his left toe just a little out of 13. Good line through low point. Is it going to be enough to take over that top spot? Not quite. 48.94. 48.94 puts him in third at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sam Allred. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Daryl Payne Jr., stand by please. In the track, we've got Sam Allred, start time 4.85 seconds. Makes his way through 1, 2, 3. Little bump out of 3, sliders right. And another out of 4. Good line, headed into Snowy, curve 6. Coming out of curve 7, 79.3 miles an hour. He's back about 0.7 of a second, just not quite as much speed some of the other competitors today have been able to find. The time to beat is Andrew Whittier's 48.80. 48.80 is our current leader. Another brush, sliders right, coming out of curve 14. Sam Allred's going to cross the finish line with a 56.8. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Daryl Payne Jr. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Hunter Williams, stand by please. Daryl Payne Jr. a little early into that first curve, but he had a start time of 4.74 seconds. Now coming out of Sunny, good line into Cutthroat. Coming out of curve 6, a little late, brushes that sliders right. It's going to affect his top speed, which was 77.7 miles an hour. Good line out of 11. Those mistakes early on can cost you dearly on this track. He's about a second and a half behind the pace as he comes out of curve 14. Climbing the final curve of the track, curve 15, he's going to cross the finish line with a 58.2. 58.2, that puts him in 5th place unofficially at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Hunter Williams. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Nick Tucker, stand by please. On the ice with another fast start time, Hunter Williams, 4.68 seconds. 4.68 seconds, makes his way through 3, now 4. He's behind the pace by 12 hundredths of a second. Let's see if he can make up some of that as he comes out of curve 6. Holding on to it, he's 13 hundredths behind the pace and a top speed of 81.4 miles an hour. Good line through the 10-11 straightaway. Maybe he can find some extra momentum here in the lower loop. Little brush out of curve 12. Still 2/10 behind the pace as he enters into low point. That final curve, curve 15. Ooh, late off curve 15, but he's able to stay on the sled. Downtime 49.20. 49.20, that's going to put him in 4th at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Nicholas Tucker. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Bradley Nichols, stand by please. In the track, Nicholas Tucker, start time 4.74 seconds. As he makes his way through curve 3. Good line into 4. 2/10 behind the pace as he comes out of Cutthroat into Snowy. Good line out of Snowy. What's the speed? Speed 81.8 miles an hour. Through our Labyrinth. Coming out of curve 10. Nice line through the 10-11 straightaway. Good lines through the Olympic curve and Dinger, 13. 2/10 behind the pace. Up that final curve of the track. Where is he going to land? 48.98. 48.98 puts him in 4th unofficially at this time. Nick Tucker, 48.98. One slider remains for Heat 1. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Brad Nickel. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 1, men's skeleton selection race. We've got Brad Nickel. Start time 4.73. 4.73 as he makes his way into curve 4. Small brush, sliders right, into curve 4. 3/10 behind the pace as he comes out of curve 6. 81.1 miles an hour. Good lines through the labyrinth. Right down the middle through that 10-11 straightaway. About 4/10 behind the pace. Coming through the Olympic curve, now Dinger. Where is he going to land in the standings? Big hit in low point. That'll affect his downtime. 49.75. 49.75. Bradley Nickel, that puts him in 6th place at this time. Let's recap. After the first heat, your unofficial top 6 at this time. In 6th, Brad Nickel with the 49.75. In 5th, we've got Hunter Williams with the 49.20. In 4th, Nick Tucker with the 48.98. In 3rd, Austin Florian with the 48.94. In 2nd, we've got Dan Barefoot with a 48.85. And your leader after the first heat, Andy Whittier with a 48.80. And attention athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators trackside. There'll be a brief pause in sliding as we shuttle the athletes back to the skeleton start. 20-minute warning, 20-minute warning to our Forerunner sleds, to our first Forerunner sled for the beginning of Heat 2. 20-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our Forerunner sled. Sled in track from the skeleton start. This is a 15-minute warning, 15-minute warning to our first of 3 4-runner sleds. 15-minute warning. This is a 10-minute warning, 10-minute warning till our first of 3 4-runner sleds. 10-minute warning. Attention athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators. This is a 5-minute warning, approximate 5-minute warning to our first of 3 4-runner sleds. Two-minute warning to our first of 3 4-runner sleds. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our first of 3 full-runner sleds. Sledding track from the skeleton start. On the ice, we've got our first of 3 forerunner sleds before Heat 2. Just a few safety reminders for those of you just joining us. There is no standing on, climbing over, or leaning under any fence or barricade that surrounds the track. No throwing objects at or around the track, and most importantly, never enter the track surface for any reason. There's currently a sled in the track, and we will be sending sleds throughout the remainder of the day. Just a few minutes out from resuming the skeleton selection races with Heat 2. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our second of 3 forerunner sleds. Sledding track from the skeleton start. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our third and final forerunner sled. Sledding track from the skeleton start. It's a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning for Michelle Toucan at the skeleton start. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Michelle Toucan. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Kendall Wessenberg, stand by please. We are back to racing here in Park City, Utah. Couldn't pick a better day to have a race. The weather is just right. The ice is smooth and fast. On the track, Michelle Toucan, start time 5.05 seconds. Her last run, she did a 54.6. She's going to be looking to beat that. She comes through the labyrinth at 80.9 miles an hour. Excellent line out of 11 into the Olympic curve, curve 12. Now coming out of Dinger, 13. Little brush, sliders right out of 14. That'll affect her. We'll see how much. Downtime, 50.25 seconds. Combined downtime for Michelle Toucan, 1 minute, 40.71 seconds. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Kendall Wessenberg. Start. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Shalonda Terry, stand by please. On the ice, we've got Kendall Wessenberg, start time 5.25 seconds. She's behind the pace by 25 hundredths. We'll see if she can make that up. She needs a 50.27 downtime to reclaim her spot and not fall any positions. If you're new to skeleton racing, the winner of today's race will be decided by the combined downtime of heats 1 and 2. It's got to be fast and consistent. 2 runs, combined downtime. Kendall Wessenberg, top speed 81.1 miles an hour. She climbs that final curve of the track, crossing the finish line with a 49.95. 49.95. Combined downtime, 1 minute 43.9. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Shalonda Terry. Start, sledding track from the skeleton start. Katie Eulander, stand by please. Second heat is reverse order by rank. Reverse order by rank means the fastest sleds from heat 1 go at the end of heat 2. So we should see some leader changes here. Shalonda Terry on the ice. Start time was 5.02 seconds. She makes her way through Snowy with a top speed of 80.8 miles an hour. She's currently 3/10 ahead of the pace, but she's losing a little bit of that lead as she makes her way through the labyrinth. Now she's 25 hundredths ahead of the pace. Into the lower loop. 2/10 ahead of the pace. Is it going to be enough to hold on to that spot, or is she going to drop back a position? Coming out of 14, she's holding on to 77.9 miles an hour. She crosses the finish line with a 52.7. 52.7. Combined downtime 1 minute 45.8. Puts her unofficially in second at this time. She falls one position. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Katie Eulander. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Kelly Curtis, stand by please. Got Katie Eulander on the ice. Start time was a 5.24. 5.24. Last run, she had a 50.24 downtime. She needs a 50.15 to hold on to a position, not drop any spots. Kendall Wessenberg, her second run downtime was a 49.95. She's our current leader, and her combined downtime with a 1 minute 43.9 is the time to beat. Katie Eulander coming out of curve 11, 81.1 miles an hour. She's currently ahead of the pace by a 1/10 of a second. As she comes out of curve 14, she's fallen back just slightly. 300ths now ahead of the pace. Will it be enough? Oh, by 1/100th of a second. Not quite enough. Katie Eulander, 51.6. 51.6 gives her a combined downtime of 1 minute 40.40. Puts her unofficially in second place at this time. There'll be a brief hold on the track. Brief hold on the track. It's a 2-minute warning for Kelly Curtis at the skeleton start. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Kelly Curtis. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Sarah Roderick, stand by please. We are down to our final 2 sliders. These were the fastest 2 sleds for Heat 1. In the track, Kelly Curtis, start time 5.12 seconds. She makes her way through 3, 4. Now coming through Cutthroat. She's currently ahead of the pace by almost half a second. Good line out of 6 and 7. 80.2 miles an hour. Last run, she did a 50.16 downtime. She needs a 52.3 to hold on to her position. Kendall Wessenberg still has the time to beat with the 1 minute 43.9 combined downtime. Kelly Curtis coming out of 14, brushing sliders left out of 14. We'll see if that affects her downtime. It does. 53.0. Kelly Curtis, combined downtime 1 minute 40.46. Kendall Wessenberg climbs another spot. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sarah Roderick. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 2, we've got Sarah Roderick. Start time was a 4.95. 4.95, that is 0.06 off of the track record. Track record was set by Jane Chanel of Canada. It was a 4.89. Got some fast ice today. Sarah Roderick, she was the fastest sled from Heat 1. Currently going through that 10-11 straightaway at 81 miles an hour. 81 miles an hour. She's a full second ahead of the pace as she goes through 12, now 13. She needs a 55.3 to take home that top spot. And I think she's got it. Coming out of curve 15 now, 49.87. 49.87. Gives her a combined downtime of 1 minute, 39.73. All right, your unofficial leaderboard. In 6th, we've got Michelle Toucan with a 1 minute 47.1. In 5th, Shalonda Terry with a 1 minute 45.8. In 4th, Kelly Curtis with a 1 minute 44.6. In 3rd, Katie Eulander with a 1 minute 44.0. In 2nd, Kendall Wessenberg with a 1 minute 43.9. And your leader unofficially after 2 heats, Sarah Roderick, combined downtime 1 minute 39.73. This will be a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning to Daryl Payne Jr. at the skeleton start. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Daryl Payne Jr. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Sam Allred, stand by please. Got 8 sleds in the second heat for the men's skeleton selection race. Daryl Payne Jr. first on the ice. Start time 4.76. 4.76 as he makes his way through 1, 2, 3, 4. Now coming out of Cutthroat. Excellent line through the 5-6 straightaway. Coming out of curve 7 at 80.5 miles an hour. Beautiful line through the 10-11 straightaway. Last run, Daryl had a 58.2 downtime. He's looking to beat that as he comes out of curve 13. Beautiful run for Daryl Payne Jr. Right down the middle through low point out of 14. He's still holding on to 77.5 miles an hour. He's going to cross the finish line with a 49.84. 49.84 gives him a combined downtime of 1 minute 46.6. 1 minute 46.6. Track's now clear at the skeleton start for Sam Allred. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Brad Nickel, stand by please. In the track, we've got Sam Allred, a little early into curve one. Put him high in curve one. He had a start time of 4.76 seconds. He's currently ahead of the pace by 13 hundredths. He needs a 49.98 to hold on to his position and not drop back a spot. A 49.98 last run. Let's see, he did a 56.8. A 56.8. Sam Allred coming through the 10-11 straightaway at 80 miles an hour. He's still ahead of the pace, but now only by 2 hundredths as he comes into the lower loop. Good line through 13. He's fallen back 6 hundredths behind the pace. He goes sideways, goes a little sideways in low point. Dropping that right foot. He's got it under control when he crosses the finish line. 53.5. 53.5 gives him a combined downtime of 1 minute, 41.03 seconds. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Bradley Nickel. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Hunter Williams, stand by please. In the track, we've got Bradley Nickel, start time 4.73. 4.73 as he makes his way through 3, now 4. Excellent line out of Sonny. He's ahead of the pace by a second, a full second. He needs a 59.1 to hold on to his spot. Last run, he did a 49.75, a 49.75. As he comes through that 10-11 straightaway, he's going 81.1 miles an hour. A little high out of 12. He's got it under control by the exit of 13. Beautiful line through low point. Keeping it off those walls. Comes out of 15, 49.58. 49.58. Gives him a combined downtime of 1 minute, 39.33. New leader, Bradley Nickel. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Hunter Williams. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Nick Tucker, stand by please. On the ice, Hunter Williams, start time 4.69. 4.69. He's currently ahead of the pace by 0.6 of a second. Good line out of 4. He needs a 51.3 to hold on to his position. He's currently ahead of that pace by over half a second, 0.6 of a second. 80.8 miles an hour. Top speed as he goes through the labyrinth curves. Excellent line through 11. Going through the Olympic curve now, Dinger. Coming out of 14, he's got 77.7 miles an hour. Get across the finish line with a 49.51. 49.51. Combined downtime 1 minute, 3.871. Hunter Williams. track is now clear at the skeleton start for Nick Tucker. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Austin Florian, stand by please. In the track, Nick Tucker, small brush out of curve 2, sliders right. Start time was a 4.75. He needs a 49.73 to hold on to his position. He's ahead of that pace by 0.08 of a second. Good line out of 6.7, 81.9 miles an hour. Almost 82 miles an hour as he heads through the 10-11 straightaway. He's almost 0.3 now ahead of the pace as he comes through Dinger, 13. Good line out of 14, just staying off the wall, sliders right. Going to cross the finish line with a 49.05. 49.05, combined downtime 1 minute, 38.03. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Austin Florian. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Dan Barefoot, stand by please. We're down to our final 3 sleds for Heat 2 men's skeleton selection race. These were the fastest 3 sleds from Heat 1. Austin Florian on the ice. A ballistic start time, 4.56. 4.56. That's 0.06 off of the track record. Austin Florian needs a 49.09 to hold on to his position. He's currently ahead of that pace by almost half a second. 82 miles an hour. 82 miles an hour through that 10-11 straightaway. He's coming out of Dinger, 13 right now. He's still holding on to almost 80 miles an hour of speed out of curve 14. He's climbing that final curve of the track. Downtime 48.64. 48.64. Gives him a combined downtime of 1 minute, 37.58. Track is now clear at the skeleton start for Daniel Barefoot. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Andrew Whittier, stand by please. Daniel Barefoot on the ice, start time 4.68. 4.68. As he makes his way through curve 3, now into 4. He needs a 48.73. A 48.73 to hold on to his position. He's currently behind that pace by 0.15 of a second. Last run he did a 48.85. A 48.85. Our current leader, Austin Florian, put down that ballistic downtime. Second heat, it was a 48.64. Daniel Barefoot coming out of curve 14, 81.7 mile an hour top speed. Going to have a downtime of 49.04 seconds. It's going to drop him back a spot. He's in second unofficially at this time. Daniel Barefoot, combined downtime 1 minute, 37.89. Track is now clear at the skeleton start for Andrew Whittier. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Bringing down the final sled for our second heat men's skeleton selection race. We've got Andrew Whittier. Start time was 4:63. He was the fastest sled in heat 1. He's looking to hold on to his position. He needs a 48.78. He's currently 7/100ths behind that pace. 81.6 miles an hour as he goes through the 10-11 straightaway. 8/100ths behind the pace. He's holding on. He needs to find some speed in the lower loop. Good lines through 12-13. He's back now 12/100ths. Now 15 out of curve 14. 78 miles an hour top speed out of 14. He's going to cross the finish line with a 48.99. 48.99 gives him a combined down time of 1:37.79. He falls back one position, unofficially in second place at this time. For a recap, your unofficial top 6 in 6th place, we've got Brad Nickel with a 1:39.33. In 5th, Hunter Williams with a combined down time of 1:38.71. In 4th, Nick Tucker with a 1:38.03. In 3rd, Dan Barefoot with a 1:37.89. In 2nd, Andrew Whittier with a 1:37.79. And in 1st, after 2 heats, Austin Florian with a combined down time of 1:37.58.